We talk Carson Kelly and more next.
Go Cubs.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. I really should put something in there about us being like great friends as well. I think that's a big part of the show, don't you?
Have we met?
Thank you for being part of the show and making us your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by our great partners at FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. If you win your first $5 bet, visit FanDuel.com to get started. Pack show, first day of the winter meetings is officially underway down in Dallas. Jed Hoyer and Craig Counsell both spoke, and I have two clips from Hoyer via Sirius XM later in the show. Also get to a lot of news of the day, including within the last hour of a possible Astros star player being available via trade. But we start with the Cubs reportedly progressing toward a deal with free agent catcher Carson Kelly. Multiple reporters are in on this, describing the agreement between Kelly and the Cubs as close. Kelly is coming off a bounce-back year with the Tigers and Rangers and would be part of a timeshare with Miguel Amaya behind the plate. Kelly did make 3.5 M's last year. Terms have not been disclosed for this deal, which is probably 1 or 2 years. He slashed 238, 313, 374, and held strong defensive metrics across the board. Sam, the Cubs at times last year were the worst catching team, one of the worst in baseball. Now it's nice to get some more certainty with Carson Kelly.
First of all, how you doing?
Good.
I want to say this. Yesterday I did a rant about reporters or lack thereof, and I just want to say this, and I don't do this very often, but I'm going to do it. I just like to prop up my podcast partner and co-host because he doesn't do the reporting bit, and he mentioned Carson Kelly to me in late July, man.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of research in the doldrums of the summer when the Cubs were out of it already. I did a lot of research.
I got to start writing stuff down because you literally said, well, they're going to sign Carson Kelly and that's going to be it. And then you hung up on me or something. So anyways, just want to give you credit on that because, you deserve it. As far as the signing goes, this is what I tweeted, and this is really where I'd like to kind of conclude.
This was good.
Kelly fills a need / gives some more insurance, etc. Goal would be 2023 Gomes. Fear would be 2024 Gomes. He'll probably land somewhere in the middle. That's pretty much the signing. I would have been dismayed if Matt Dice opened the year with Amaya, but I was actually starting to warm up with Ballesteros because why not? Eventually this position will be Miguel Amaya's, and how that position is reflected will be how Miguel Amaya performs. So we'll see. This isn't official yet. It's important to make that clear. We don't know years. I hope it's just a 1-year deal. It might be a 2. If it's any more than that, I would be really disappointed. But really, it's fine. It fills a need. We all had that. Would I have liked to take a big swing at somebody else at that position? Sure. But my guess is that Jed and co believe that Miguel Amaya could be that guy. And I almost think a move like this is just saying, hey, Miguel, he's there to give you a breather once or twice a week, but this is going to be your job and we want you to run with it. And I think it's very important as this offseason progresses that we acknowledge that, yeah, we're going to be taking a big risk and we need a big year from Matt Shaw. Yeah, that might be the case with Owen Casey. We'll see. We know it's going to be the case with PCA. We need to throw Miguel Amaya in that mix. If this team is going to be really good, he's probably going to have to be a solid contributor on both sides of the ball, and Carson Kelly will be there to back him up, and maybe he's better than we think.
Well, you're right. You're right. And Counsell, by the way, not only over the summer, but he doubled down on Monday during his exciting media availability that Miguel Amaya, he actually flat out said, he said Amaya needs a break sometimes. And so what you're talking about is exactly what the team is thinking, that 2-3 times a week, Carson Kelly is going to be in the starting lineup. And I think as a complementary piece with Ballesteros starting to knock on the door, I was for a 1-year deal with a catcher, veteran catcher. And that's exactly what is happening. I do know that Jansen signed last week. Gary Sanchez signed over the weekend. And those numbers were way higher than I thought. So for someone like Carson Kelly, who had a really nice year last year, all things considered, for catcher, veteran catcher bounce back considerations, I think that this is a nice addition that improves your team a little bit. You know, he played in 91 games last year. I would expect around the same. But the Cubs were for I would say 3/4 of the year, actually probably less. 3/4 is probably exaggerating. Even if it's 50%, which I don't think is a stretch, catcher was a negative value position.
Mm-hmm.
They actually lost games because of the catcher.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, when your catchers for 2 months bat like, Jose Quintana.
So this is respectable. And if Ballesteros is lighting up Des Moines and he continues to catch, and he can catch once or twice a week, then Carson Kelly will be on his way, Matt, or something like that. So that's fine.
Can I interrupt you really quick? Yep. I know we're going to talk about this last segment. I just want to ask a question. When we're going to go over Hoyer, did he talk about did he talk about the inning thing? Did you see that? Because I just saw a tweet from Megan Montemurro, and I just think I have to read it now.
What do you mean by inning thing?
Like in the offseason, like what inning they're in the offseason?
No, he didn't. He better not have said that to reporters tonight.
So Megan Montemurro just tweeted 4 minutes ago, Jed Hoyer estimates the Cubs are in the 4th or 5th inning of their offseason. Even after adding Matthew Boyd, the Cubs will continue to look for starting pitching, which we'll talk about. It feels like there's a lot more action earlier this year than usual. Very robust free agent market.
Is that the reporters asking him that way? Why does he keep doing that?
Just say we don't know.
Do what Counsell did. He said, the winter's far from over. It's only December 9th.
So we're in the 4th or 5th inning, which means
there's no way it's the 4th or 5th inning. There's no way.
We're halfway
You're
done.
You're telling me it's about 8:05 p.m. on a Monday night. It's the 4th or 5th inning.
Well, the 4th or 5th inning means we're halfway. We've added Morgan. We've added Boyd. We've added Kelly. So I guess, I guess it makes sense. You'll probably add one more starter, one more reliever, and maybe a miscellaneous ad. Okay.
Trade. Well, yeah, I don't like that analogy too much. I know there's a lot that's cooking up on the hot stove right now for all the jokes and, frankly, slander that the winter meetings took last year from not only us, but every single baseball content creator. It's not that this time. So it's almost
been fun
to keep up with.
Just do let's make it. You know a big Cubs trade's coming. That you know.
Yeah, I think there is. I think it's probably for a starting pitcher, whether it's Garrett Crochet, Luis Castillo. Could one of the Rays guys be available? Could one of the Marlins guys be available?
Kyle Tucker.
We'll see. Yeah, Kyle Tucker as well.
All right.
Let's get into some news and rumblings of the day right after this.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Folks, I bet the Niners yesterday, -3. When I saw that line get to 3, I had to take San Francisco. And today I saw a poll question from the great Sylvie, Mark Silverman over at Waddle and Sylvie on ESPN 1000. And I was troubled by the question because it was something along the lines of, is this the most disappointing Bears season of your lifetime? So I responded in only the way I can. And I just said, Sylvie, it's just another season led by George. That's all it is. It's not the most disappointing. It's just, this is status quo. It's what they do. The second Mark Trestman season was just as disappointing as this. The year after they lost in the playoffs was just as disappointing. This is what they do. Starts at the top. Been saying it for a while. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Cubs were connected to relief pitchers Kyle Finnegan and A.J. Minter by Jesse Rogers and John Morosi, respectively, on Monday. And then Jesse Rogers Sam tweeted out a long quote from White Sox president of baseball ops, Chris Getz.
Saw it.
Maybe you could get that and
got it right in front
do
of
a read aloud session.
Yeah, I can do it right now.
Also, when asked about the possibility of trading either Framber Valdez or Kyle Tucker, Astros GM Dana Brown said nothing is off the table. Maybe if there is a long-term extension candidate the Cubs see worth as an investment, maybe Tucker is that guy on the positional side. So what did Getz say about the Cubs Sox crochet possibility?
Quote, we've had conversations about various topics over coffee on occasion. If there is a match, there is a match. We have to do what's best for the White Sox. If that means we knock on the door of the Cubs, so be it. They have a talented prospect group that's working its way to the major leagues. If it can help the White Sox, we'll do it. But there are other organizations that have talent that we might match up better with, end quote.
Yeah, I think
I think the Red Sox are a better fit if they offer certain things. You know, I think the Cubs aren't going to offer certain things maybe that Getz wants, but we'll see. It's definitely in there. There's a lot of rumblings.
Matt,
Matt,
a lot of rumblings.
Can I do 45 seconds on the Soto thing for last night and how it impacts us? Because I think that's the big news.
Right, and I think it connects to the Cubs' pursuit of starting pitching. I'll get to that in a minute.
So Soto signs with the Mets for $15,765. I really believe that Steve Cohen just told Boris, whatever he's offered, just let me know. I'll top it. Just let me know. And I believe the Yankees started to realize that and just said, forget it. And this is a good news, bad news for our ball club. The good news is that I really think if the Yankees don't get Santander, they basically have to pursue a Bellinger deal. They really do. To compete. So that should help the Cubs in that regard. Obviously, the bad news is pretty simple. You know, the Mets are a National League team. People, it was funny because I tweeted this out yesterday. Everyone's like, well, we just need to worry about the division. I'm sorry. I want to win championships. That's what I look at. That's my main goal, is to win the World Series. And, I know that goal isn't matched by some of our front office members or ownership, but I always am thinking about world titles. And so a team in the National League just got significantly better. So that's the negative side. But the positive side is maybe it'll be easier now to deal Cody Bellinger.
Oh, I think so. I think the Yankees are a fit for him for sure. If not further down the list, some team that is going to want him, but I think he fits a plan B possibility for them.
Yep, Toronto maybe even.
I think the Cubs' impactful additions entering this 25 year, the more and more as I'm gathering information, it's going to be starting pitching.
Yeah, it feels like
and
that.
again, they've been connected to Crochet and Castillo. They've been connected to Flaherty as late as today, Monday. Could a name that we haven't even floated be out there?
Yeah,
Obviously,
Boyd wasn't floated.
Yeah, they signed Boyd already, and the NL is home to some of the best players on the planet. Soto. So you're talking about getting to the final possible schedule of the year, right? You're talking World Series. Well, to get there, you now have Soto with the Mets. You have Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Harper, Acuna, Lindor. You have that next tier of maybe Adames, who switched teams over the weekend to the Giants. Maybe like a Matt Olson when he's really good. Then you got the young stud tier. Even like a Corbin Carroll or Ellie De La Cruz in your division.
Jackson
Are they
Chourio.
really going to try to outscore them or prevent them from scoring? And I think it's preventing them from scoring.
Yeah, I'm not going to subscribe to that. They need to do both. So, look, I'll say this. If they're going to, I get it. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to sell us on the run prevention stuff because that's where they have room to add. And listen, I was one of the first people to say they better add pitching. Just because they're having a good pitching season, they better add pitching. I'm fine with that. But I'm not going to sit here and wave the W flag around if they go into the season with Casey as the main right fielder and Shaw at second, and that's it. And they didn't make, and no knock on those guys. I believe to be taken seriously as a real contender, they could add Crochet, they could add Castillo, they could have the best rotation of baseball. You're not going to outscore. You're not going to. Those guys aren't going to go in October and go into Dodger Stadium or go into wherever and pitch shutout ball. Even Jed said today, like, you're not adding the pitching because you're trying to shut out guys. There's guys aren't going to pitch 200 innings. So you just need the depth as much as anything else. At some point, you're going to have to score a lot of runs. This team didn't do that last year, and it's going to be hard to sell everybody that they're going to do that this year if they basically bring back the same team minus 2 guys and adding 2 minor leaguers. That's just a fact. Maybe they'll surprise, but going into that, there's no way Vegas will say that they're an 88-win team based on just great pitching. Look at the Mariners last year.
No, they had big problems offensively to the point where they're starting 5, the best in baseball. It wasn't enough. So, I think that's a good example.
And I'm fine with adding pitchers. Like, I want to do that. I just wish we could be in a situation where we could add, hitters too.
But then again, if you matched up the Cubs and Mariners rosters, which ironically or not, they might actually make a trade as soon as like today.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure. But
Cubs have more talent.
They do. They do, right? That's what I was getting to.
Cubs have more talent offensively, for sure. The only knock would be Julio Rodriguez is supposed to be a superstar, and he did not perform like that last year, and that really messed them up.
What are your thoughts on this Kyle Tucker thing?
My
Because
thoughts are
Chandler Rome is reporting now that teams have reached out to the Astros.
So my thoughts are this. I love it, but would the Cubs actually be in play to extend them if Soto just got 765, right? That means Kyle Tucker's going to get what? How old's Kyle Tucker? Let me do a quick. Was he like 27? Let me look here. Hold on.
I think he's 27.
Kyle Tucker age 27. So, and I believe he'll be 28 when the season hits. Mm-hmm. So he's probably looking for something like, and this is a great segue because I have a trivia question for you.
Yeah.
He's probably, let's say Kyle's looking for something like 10 for 350.
Right.
Do we think the Cubs would ever hand that out? Matt, I got a trivia question for you. Can I ask it?
Yeah.
In order of biggest contracts in baseball for each team, 1 through 30th, where do the Cubs rank in the biggest contract they've ever handed out?
Oh, this is just in baseball history?
Yeah. So each team's largest contract they've ever handed out.
All right. So that largest contract is Hayward at 180 and some change.
184, correct.
I'm going to just go middle, 15.
It's 19th, right after the Brewer. So,
Wait, who did the Brewers sign for that
Christian
much?
Yelich for 188 and a half.
Oh, wow.
So the Mets 765, LA 700, 300. The Cubs have never given a guy $200 million.
Right.
The Tigers have, the Royals have, heck, the Nationals have.
So you're saying they never will?
No, of course they will.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, clearly there has been a focus to avoid those type of contracts. And so my question to you is, would Kyle Tucker be the guy where Tom says, okay, let's do it?
I think so.
Okay, I'm fine. I would love that. I think having star players is fun.
Both Hoyer and Counsell spoke on Monday. I have a little bit of Hoyer audio and just some highlights from both of these guys. What did they say? Stay tuned. Craig Counsell had his media availability at the winter meetings in Dallas on Monday. And so did Jed Hoyer, who was also on SiriusXM earlier in the day on Monday. Counsell spoke about adding quality pitchers who will be answers out of the bullpen. So in terms of Sam, maybe not impactful additions necessarily or the upper echelon, but really guys that were reported today, like a Finnegan or Minter or something like that. Something notable here about the prospect group at AAA will contribute, right? Will contribute in some form or fashion this year. And then, he does expect the roster to look different in spring training than it does now, which was answering a question essentially about running it back. Counsell said, "Hey, we're not doing that."
Hey, Matt, is it fair to say?
We'll see.
Is it fair to say we're at about the 8th inning of this show today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the vibe that I'm getting from Jed is depth. He's just focused on depth, volume with these relievers and some of these pitchers. That's kind of what it sounds like he's saying.
Oh, good.
Craig was Craig, man.
He was. Here, I have a clip from Hoyer on this, actually not in a way, answering a Juan Soto question. I don't think I've seen this anywhere yet. We're the first to have it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, there wasn't an appetite to get involved at that level, and ultimately, I think that those decisions, I think those are organizational decisions. When you're getting involved in 15 years and you're getting that much money, and that was sort of the mindset. Is it was very obvious the player helps us, but it's in terms of like the contractual commitment and what that would do, the trickle down effect for that, that was the decision that was made as an organization, was that this is not something that we can get involved in.
So there's his official position on not being in the Soto sweepstakes.
Well, Jed, you didn't have an appetite for that, and I've lost mine. I've lost mine for the evening. So, and look, I get it. I get it. I really do. Like 15 for 765 is ridiculous. Okay, it is. It is ridiculous. But sometimes, I mean, he got more money than Ohtani, and he doesn't even pitch.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I get it. But sometimes you have to just do things that are uncomfortable in order to go for it. And I'll say this. I believe there's a new Mount Rushmore when it comes to baseball, and the Cubs aren't on it. I believe that when the national audience now is thinking, what 4 teams do I want to watch play baseball? What 4 teams will it be really fun when they're good? I believe it is now the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, and the New York Mets. The energy that this country had when the Mets were winning, it felt like everybody got behind them. They love that team. And now they take that momentum and they go add arguably one of the 2-3 best guys in the game. Good for them. I acknowledge that contract is insane. I cannot believe he got that much money. I believe that the Yankees probably said the same thing Jed had, like, enough's enough, man. What are we going to do? 800, Cohen will go 805. But at some point the Cubs are going to have to do that and get a player like that, unless, of course, they do the 2016 model where their superstars are just on arbitration, like Bryant, or I think Rizzo that year was making $5 million in a team-friendly deal. And you were able to just be really shrewd and lucky with that. So,
well, I think that fourth team of interest is up for discussion.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would put the Red Sox in there.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a clear three. I mean, the Mets are in the clear three.
Yeah, I just think the Red Sox have won a lot lately,
Right. I mean, the best thing that I actually read from Joe Sheehan on Monday morning, this Soto signing, you know who was the second most beneficiary besides the Mets?
Like team-wise?
Yeah, he made a great point.
The second most benefit, the team that benefited the most.
Soto leaving the Yankees for the Mets.
The Red Sox.
The Orioles.
Or the Orioles, okay.
Especially with their position player group. But Red Sox we're right below them.
Yeah, I just think the Orioles.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I because now the Orioles will probably be the clear favorite in that division.
Well, Soto is worth how many wins?
Well, according to the WAR statistic, I want to say, let's take a look. I want to say he was in the 8 or 9 range.
Right, at least 7.
Oh, I would assume it's more than that.
I know. I'm just being conservative.
I hope it. Oh, yeah, it's 7-9, so 8.
Okay.
8, according to Bleacher Nation, according to Baseball Reference, but Fangraphs, maybe it's a little something different. Here's
a 40-second cut. Hoyer on their current group and the possibility of adding more impact.
Very balanced. We have, a good player at really every position. We have a really good farm system, to help support that. And those guys are all, really in AAA. But yeah, I always talk about it in terms of kind of WAR consolidation, right? This is like, there's a lot of guys projected to be in the 3.5 range, but like having that guy that's, at the MVP candidate, the guy that's 5 or 6 wins, like whether it's in the rotation, whether it's, in the lineup. Yes, I think that's something that it doesn't mean we can't have a guy do it. I mean, Cody was pretty close to that in 2023. Right. I think we have some guys that could do it, but yeah, certainly from a projection standpoint, that's a totally fair thing, and it's something we've talked about a lot.
All right.
I put on my cheese hat. Go Pack Go. No, hey, listen, in all honesty, at least he acknowledged it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he started to in early October.
What did he say though at the end? Because I kind of like, did he say like that's something we're aware of, but like, so we're just gonna hope that Suzuki's that guy, or?
Well, he said we have a lot of guys who could be that guy.
They do,
but it's something we're talking about.
Okay, because they do. They have a lot of guys that could be that guy, but not one guy we know will be that guy. And
he admitted that today.
What makes that really easy is if you have one guy that you know is going to be that guy, then if you have a couple guys that turn into that guy, now you have a 95-win team.
I think that's a good place to wrap up. When news breaks, we're going to be on with a shorter video, and then we'll always follow up at night. We're recording close to 7 Central right now, just because there was so much news today.
Yeah,
we just wanted to throw it up there, but we'll be flexible.
And I napped today, so if something breaks at 12:30, I'll be up.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition.
Serious, that wasn't a joke.
Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
See ya.